Mickey Cavill. This guy again. Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, Nerdman, and today we are doing another Hot Take Tuesdays. And what is that, Phil Pickle? What do we do?
What?
You're my co-host, man. What do we do? You always do a really good.
Swap me and him.
Yeah, guys. As you guessed it, every Tuesday, but today's Thursday. Yeah, so any day of the week, we got on here. We give a spicy hot take, me or Nerdman, and you guys know we fight it out. We debate, we argue, we cuss at each other. But at the end of the day, we love each other. But it's gonna be fun. I don't know what Nerdman's hot take is this week, but I'm sure it's gonna be fucking blasphemous. So today is Hot Takes Thursdays, or depending on where you are in the world, Hot Takes Fridays or Wednesday. It's Hot Takes every day, baby.
It's
Okay.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah,
That's right.
Sorry, I'm sending you something, Ashley. So, guys, do you want to introduce yourselves quickly before I give this hot take?
I'm Ashley, aka The Widow, from my channel, The Widow. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I like to talk shit at The Real Widow. And that's it.
Yeah, I'm Philosophical Pickle. Find me on Philosophical Pickle. I also do hot takes, comic book stuff. If you've watched Nerdman, you've seen me. So next.
I'm Geek Speak. I am the god of Mario Kart. Check out my channel so I can prove it to you.
Ooh, I take that challenge.
Ooh,
Let's
Bonzo,
do
Geek
it.
Speak's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure, but I still take that challenge. I don't back down from challenges.
Ooh, I gotta see you two play sometime.
I like it. Yeah, we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to
Got
live
it.
stream it.
No problem. You guys know Bigger For It Entertainment. Thanks for having me on to Nerdman.
No. All right, guys. Are you ready to see this week's?
English?
English? What do you mean
Yeah.
English?
your shit chipped out.
All right. Sorry, I was looking for something.
Yeah, it's
okay. Are you ready to see
this week? All right.
So
Let's
are
let
you ready
simmer
to
for
see
like
this
5 more
week's-
seconds.
5 more
All right,
seconds?
I'm ready.
All right. So this week's hot take. I'm not sure how everyone is going to feel about this one. I might have some people on my side, or everyone might think I am a ridiculous joker, as per usual. But here we go.
Wait.
Ooh.
Oh.
Quentin Tarantino has not made a masterpiece.
Oh my God.
Since Pulp Fiction.
This is fantastic. This is great. I love this. I got to pull up a fucking note sheet right now.
So,
Nerdman,
is everyone here Quentin?
If you're out there right now, you have to pray for Nerdman because he's about to get absolutely obliterated.
100.
You know, this.
Everyone's
this may
going to
not
go
be,
against me again.
my
All right,
usual
fine. I
take,
thought I'd
but
actually have. Yeah.
I actually side with Nerdman on this. I don't know that any of his films are a masterpiece. I think he's got some great films, but I don't think any of them are a masterpiece. Nerdman, I'll let you go ahead and start saying whatever you were saying. My bad.
Yep.
Explain
No,
yourself,
it's
young
okay.
man.
I just want to know. Everyone's a fan. Has everyone watched all of the Quentin Tarantino movies?
Most of them.
I haven't seen
every single one, but I
Jackie
think
Brown
I've
or Kill Bill.
seen-
You haven't seen Kill Bill?
Oh, you haven't seen Kill Bill?
I've seen
Wow.
parts of it. I can't get into it.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. This is going to play into my whole argument.
No, because I'm going to destroy you on another movie of his, which I think is a masterpiece.
Okay, and so Ashley, you've seen all of them,
none
right?
of his movies.
So good,
Yeah.
and you're a fan. Great. And have you just off top, like, have you got a side on this?
I'm thinking.
Okay. All right.
No,
Great.
no
So-
nuance. Don't give us nuance,
Good.
Ashley. We don't want nuance. You got to pick a
Is it a-
side.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Right.
think. Is this are they master? Is it a masterpiece? A film that I love a lot. So I'm trying to pull out my
All right.
side and really think about the movie because I don't know.
I'm gonna start off with my opening kind of just the basic argument for what I'm trying to say here. So I think Quentin Tarantino is obviously one of the greatest directors to ever have done it. But when he first started, there was an excitement and a coolness to his movies. And this is not just movies that he himself directed, but he himself wrote. Sometimes, such as From Dusk Till Dawn, or I actually have to check if Dusk Till Dawn is after Pulp Fiction, because maybe I'll count that as I'll say he hasn't made one since Dusk Till Dawn then. But from Dusk Till, I think it's really, really good. I think it's really, really good.
You're weird.
You know, Natural Born Killers, all of those movies just had a coolness and excitement to them, and just, you know, like straight in there. Once you get into the film, and from beginning to end, it's a pure blast, pure entertainment. Plus, you know, great dialogue. You know, that's his signatory thing. My personal favorite Quentin Tarantino movie is actually Reservoir Dogs. The one that he directed and wrote himself. And when you look at that movie, it's just got no fat in it. It's like it's straight in there with the great dialogue. You're straight into this world, and it's just beautifully done. And it's directed in a kind of in a style that is just, as I said, it's so original and unique. And then there's these kind of latter end of the movies, right? So after you've got Pulp Fiction, you go into films like Kill Bill. Kill Bill's nice. I like it. It's a fun movie. But again,
really good.
there's things about it that, you know, at times, I think much like Philosophical Pickle, the first time I watched it, I couldn't even really get into it. Took me time to, you know, sit down and actually get into this one, and that's because I don't think it has. Wait a second, let me finish.
I just want to ask you a question. Do you like kung fu movies?
I do like kung fu movies, yes.
Then I don't know how you can't like Kill Bill.
No, I do like Kill Bill. I'm not saying I said he hasn't made a masterpiece. I didn't say I don't like the rest of the movies. I'm just saying he hasn't made a masterpiece since then. And then you go into the three that I want to talk about, which I believe are good but overrated. That is Inglourious Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is really fucking overrated, and what is the cowboy movie one with Jamie Foxx? Django Unchained.
Oh,
good movie. Good movie.
Overrated.
Good movie. Overrated. Has a very, very central flaw in the movie, which I'm going to discuss, because I'm sure some people will rep for Django, but I think it has a really, really appalling flaw at the center of it, which stops it from being a masterpiece. The Hateful Eight, which is good but forgettable, right? Death Proof, we might as well not even talk about. And when you think about films like Pulp Fiction, you think about films like From Dusk Till Dawn, you think about films like Reservoir Dogs. These are movies, no matter what, you just put them on, no matter what time you are, or you find them on TV, wherever you are in the film, you just end up sitting down and being transported into the world and head and brain of Quentin Tarantino. The rest of those films, I don't even feel like I've felt the need to revisit them. And centrally, those historical movies that he made, as I said, Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they all have the same theme. Let's transport people into some historical situation and like change it at the end in some weird way, like killing Hitler or sorry, spoilers ahead, guys. like killing Hitler or killing the Manson family or something like that. So it's just like these historical films where he just changes the ending of them, and it always feels a little bit weird anyway, which I'll go into about that after. But yeah, that's my opening, just to say what I think about them, and then I'll be able to argue depending on which ones, what your views are. So who wants to talk first?
Silence.
Everybody
All right, first
don't
off-
jump at it at once.
First off, I'll say this: I'm not a big fan of Pulp Fiction. You know,
Okay.
I just not a big fan of that movie at all. So I don't think it's a masterpiece like you think it is. And I don't like to really call a lot of movies masterpiece, but I'm just gonna use it for this context of the show. I like Kill Bill Volume 1 very much. I think that's close to a masterpiece. Django Unchained is a masterpiece, and the reason why it's a masterpiece to me is because the acting in that movie is so good, especially with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's absolutely unbelievable, that movie.
Right.
Hateful Eight, I've seen it. I think it is a little bit unforgettable because I've seen it once and only watched it once. But if I would have to go with them, I'd probably go with Kill Bill and Django as my masterpiece for him.
Okay.
Okay. So Nerd Man. Okay. I agree. Pulp Fiction is overrated. It's not a masterpiece, but for this argument, I'm going to argue your terms that you think it's a masterpiece. So I'm going to argue the movie that's even better than it, which is of course Django Unchained, which is one of the greatest films ever made.
No.
Tarantino has a problem of getting out of his own way. I think that like Inglourious Bastards, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, The Hateful Eight, like they're almost perfect, but there's just like he always adds one or two extra scenes, one or two extra plot lines, a little too much dialogue. He makes it a little too long. He just like when a movie like adds dialogue when it shouldn't, I call it Tarantinoing the movie. Like he doesn't know when to stop. So there is that excess and all of.
So which film specifically are you talking about where he did this too much?
Oh, Pulp Fiction. Hands down. Pulp Fiction, he does it. Never seen Kill Bill. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he does it. He definitely does it in Inglourious Bastards. There are some scenes that just keep going. Like this is so good, and it's like, oh, they're still talking. Oh, it's 4 minutes later and they're still talking. Even Django, even the one I'm arguing for. I think it should have ended and like there's like 10 minutes too much on it. Hateful Eight, there's definitely too much on it. So cut off some of the fat and you would have a perfect steak. But by your rules, dude, Django Unchained absolutely destroys Pulp Fiction. I'll let Ashley and Geek Speak talk, but then after they go, I will get in your ass.
Okay.
Not sexually.
Wow.
I would hope not.
not on stream anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still
processing.
Yeah, because I love most of all of these movies. To me, Pulp Fiction is my favorite.
I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic movie. Yeah.
And Django and Kill Bill, I love them so much. But Kill Bill is definitely not a masterpiece, and I'm trying, and I don't believe Django is. The more I think about it, so yeah, I'd have to agree.
Okay.
Killing me.
It's an amazing film. I love it. I've seen it so many times.
So let me ask you something, Ashley. Which of his films do you think are masterpieces? Like, or his best, like top 5?
I mean, I feel Pulp Fiction is number 1 for me. Kill Bill, Django, Reservoir Dogs, and I love The Hateful Eight. But out of those 5, Kill Bill and Django were the only ones that I would consider almost masterpieces.
Okay, interesting. All right, so we've got a diversity of thought here. So Geek Speak, get on these fucking guys, man. You know that. You know the
Uh,
truth. You know the truth. You know how it is.
So I actually side with. Kind of seems like I side with everybody. I side with everybody a little bit here in this conversation. It's very hard for me to call any movie at all a masterpiece. I'm actually trying to get a list for you right now of movies that I actually consider masterpieces. I want to put The Dark Knight on there, but there's a few things wrong with that movie, so I can't put that on there. But I do love that movie a lot. I think it's very close to a masterpiece. But a couple of other movies I have two right now on my list, but No Country for Old Men and Spirited Away. Those are movies that I would call like a cinematic masterpiece. So when it comes to Quentin Tarantino and his style of films, like every single one of his films, I don't want to say they're the same, but he has, that niche that he does in every single film where the dialogue goes on too long and you don't really know which way the movies are going to go or which way the plot's going to kind of go. So yeah, there's that. Now you guys can like send me if you want, but I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs or what's that other one?
Do you mean?
I can't remember the name. There's one more that you guys had mentioned. Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
So he did.
But the movies that I have seen, I've seen Pulp Fiction. I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've seen both of the Kill Bills, Glorious Bastards, Django, Hateful Eight. So out of all of those, I have to say that Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill are definitely my favorite. I think those are great movies. I think those are both close to being masterpieces. I wouldn't call them a masterpiece. I think he kind of gets in his own way and keeps his movies from becoming masterpieces with his certain particular style, I guess. And that's just me, I guess, because it's not my favorite, like with the whole dialogue thing. But like I said, Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction, they're the two movies out of the ones that I listed that I have seen where the dialogue doesn't go on too long, where when the dialogue does go on for a while, like it's just right. Like you were saying, Nerdman, or whoever was saying it in Django Unchained, I think it's actually Pickle. It just kind of goes on and on and on. And he's talking for a long time. And it's just like, it's just too, it's just too long. So I get that that's his style, his niche. That's what he does in his movies. But in some of the movies, like there's a point where you got to kind of cut it off. And so Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill are just two of the ones that, do it for me, that I think are the best ones so far. They're also the ones, that actually got me really engaged. When I watched Pulp Fiction for the first time last year, first time ever seeing it, I was engaged fully. I didn't
from the whole, right.
From the whole thing. Now, Hateful Eight, I got kind of bored. Django, I got kind of bored. Glorious Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There was a couple of times where I was like bored. I was like, I don't know where this is going.
Right.
And I started to look through my phone. But Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, I wanted to watch it again. I was focused the whole way through. And, they're not masterpieces, but they are great movies. I think Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill are his best ones. And I hope he comes out with a Kill Bill of all three to kind of wrap that up.
Facts, bro. Like, what is going on? You are dropping some facts right now. So yeah, first of all, I want to pick up on something he said straight off, and I'm going to go into Django Unchained a little bit after, because I do think that's, for me,
they're good movies.
Probably his better, Inglourious Bastards and Django are both good movies, basically, but there's things about them that kind of let them down. But you're right. It's like there's a kind of when it comes to, I just realized my internet is either off or what the hell's going on? Not my internet, my electricity. But anyway, there's a kind of self-awareness of the tropes of Quentin Tarantino movies. He knows what people are expecting from a Quentin Tarantino movie, and he tries to do them and deliver them in the same kind of engaging way as in Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, but he doesn't quite capture that magic again in those movies. One of the things, for instance, is the use of hyper violence, right? It's completely organic in something like Reservoir Dogs. It's completely organic in something like Pulp Fiction. Every bit of violence, or even something that's even sexually problematic, or the language that he uses as well, all of that kind of stuff it really doesn't distract from the story at all. It's right like in the story, and it flows perfectly well. Like you see the scene in Pulp Fiction where, you know, there's a guy who kidnaps the Gimp kidnaps him or something like that. It's funny. It's it's completely in line with the story, and it's surprising, and all the lines, you know, in it deflate from the fact that there's a guy about to get like raped, essentially. Whereas, you know, when you go into something like Inglorious Bastards, it's just like all of a sudden he's like taking scalps off a person, you know. It's like cutting a scalp off someone. It doesn't feel organic to the story. It feels like kind of weird. Like the violence in that just comes, it's not like it comes out of nowhere, but it's jarring and it's ugly. And it's not, you know, and it's done because I think Quentin like Tarantino
war is violent.
No, but it's like, no, wait a second. No one in World War II was going up to soldiers and like cutting their scalps. Okay, so that's not realistic violence. That's violence that he put in there because he knows that's what you expect from that's what you would expect from a Quentin Tarantino movie. So he puts it in there, and it doesn't feel organic. It feels weird. And last thing I'll say about it is there is no boring moment in Pulp Fiction. There is no boring moment in there is no boring moment in Reservoir Dogs. You know, or even you know, Dusk Till Dawn, True Romance. That is like straight fire from beginning to end. You're engaged the whole way.
He didn't direct those.
I know he didn't direct those, but he wrote those, so I'm counting them as Quentin Tarantino movies, right? So there is no boring moments. They're just classics straight away. You can put it on any time and have a fun time. Whereas there are genuinely, even though I think there are great moments to Django Unchained, there are genuinely boring moments where I, as Speak said, first time I watched it, didn't know where it was going, wasn't that interested in what was happening on screen, and it took time for me to get into it again.
So can we get some of your boring moments?
Yeah, what was the big problem that Django has? You said it has a core flaw.
I want to go into that after because I think that's going to be a big debate. So I want to go.
I'm ready to go off about
Django
later. Right now.
All right. Well, we
only have an hour before Ashley has to leave. Let's get into this. What is
okay?
You want because that's what Anzo and I are both fighting is Django.
Okay, so my biggest flaw with Django is the character of Jamie Foxx. I don't think for the first hour and maybe 10 minutes, even maybe the whole film, you know, this guy is supposed to be the hero of the story, and he's just really uncompelling. And given that he's the slave, right, who is, you know, it's like it's totally unbalanced. You're doing this film about slavery, right, with this black character, and all the interesting characters, maybe apart from Samuel L. Jackson, are white characters. And I don't mean that in like, oh, you know, hey, this is a kind of racial thing I have against it. I'm just talking about simply that you're doing this film about slavery. You have the central character who's a slave, right? And he's not that interesting until like halfway through the movie, right? And the only person who's interesting, who keeps your interest in the beginning of the movie, is the Christoph Waltz character. There's like a disbalance between the two of them, and he's just not that compelling to watch. And you're talking about Jamie Foxx, who's a good actor and he's charismatic when he needs to be, but he isn't that interesting until you get to really knowing what's happened with him and Brunhilde. Brunhilde. Right, and then you start to really feel for him, but like in the beginning it's just like he doesn't have like that much of a character. He's
an uneducated slave.
Yeah, but they could have given him something to do.
Like, I'll let you go first on this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you go first. But they did give him something to do, right?
I mean, he was
okay. Hold on. Let me tell you something. Like you said, an uneducated slave. Think about all of the movies we've gotten that are based in the uneducated slave era, and there are, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I know they're there. movies where they did give you something. They gave you more than what we were getting with Jamie Foxx and Django initially.
Thank you.
You know, like you said, they were uneducated slaves.
But his
I'll look some up
character-
right now.
What was that? I mean, he was just, different still as a slave. He wasn't very educated. He wasn't very smart. But what they did so well in the early part of the movie with Jamie Foxx is it reminds me of like a classic like black exploitation film. Like all these elements mixed with a western. Even in the beginning of the film, it pays homage to these movies like Shaft, Jackie Brown, and he did Jackie Brown as a
exploitation movie.
That.
Yeah.
So you get that feeling from Django Unchained, and from the very beginning of the movie. And even though his character is still, he lacks the confidence and the self, and that's part of. Yes, he's a little bit more reserved, and maybe you feel that his character doesn't do enough. But the fact of the matter is he's playing it low. He's playing it down on this level because he doesn't have that confidence yet. And as the film progresses, he becomes more confident who he is. Okay. So I don't feel that that's a misstep. I feel like.
All right, let me ask this. Let me ask this because I think you raised some good points there, and I like what Geek Speak said. There are other slave movies with slaves who are uneducated, who are just or whatever, that are compelling characters. You look at 12 Years a Slave. He's look educated. I wasn't about to say him. I was about to say the female character that Michael Fassbender is trying to. Character. She is not a nothing character. You feel from her from the beginning, and it's a great performance. And let me ask you this. Django, right? Of all the characters main characters in a Quentin Tarantino film, where does Django rank?
Oh, he's low. He's not even top 10.
Fucking low. He's fucking low, right?
But that doesn't matter because Christoph Waltz is one of the greatest performances in movie history in that movie.
Yeah, again, so you're playing into my criticism. That's exactly what I'm saying. You're making a movie about like a slave movie,
I'll give you my points.
About this terrible time in like that kind of history, and you give all the great stuff, right, to. I'm sorry to say this, but yeah, you give all the great stuff to Christoph Waltz, who's like the white lead in the movie, and I think that's like that to me was slightly problematic. And then I do like what they did.
I feel like that's not problematic. It seems very realistic, even though he's a free
How's it realistic?
Slave, even though he's a free slave.
I'll school you, nerd man. You're a teacher, but I'll take you to school.
You could tell it to be. Oh, sorry, Ashley. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, you first. Ladies first.
No, go.
No, I was just gonna say, but that's the character building, right? Because you got to remember, he's a slave. At the first time we see him in the beginning of the movie, he's in change. He gets saved, right? He doesn't know that he could do the things he does, and it's not until after they kill the sheriff in that town that's when he's like, "Oh, well, we can kill white people." You know what I mean? It's like I could do this, and that's when he starts to build his confidence.
You're telling me the story of the movie. I know the story of the movie. I'm saying, is it a flaw?
What makes it realistic? What makes it realistic is even though he's doing all of these things and he's a free man, he's still going to. Part of him is going to follow behind this man, and he's going to take that lead because of the dynamics that he's lived through. He's a slave. So that power dynamic is there with the character. So it does make sense for the time period and then them doing that in the movie. So I'm not surprised that Django's character is not as strong or taking that lead necessarily because of the fact that he was a slave, right? So it's also part of.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been an uneducated slave. That's not my. That's not. I don't. Are you saying that? I don't think either of us are saying that.
Uneducated slave just now.
You're not listening to.
Let me explain, Nerman. Let me go now.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have been confident.
Because if you're not going to respond to what I'm saying, then there's no point. Go for it.
Wow.
So
okay. Like,
what we're trying to say is,
listen to what you said. All right, fair enough.
Look, I can admit.
I wanted you to. I mean, you said uneducated. That's not what I said.
Okay, go on, please.
I was done.
No, I'm talking to Philosophical Pickle.
Thank
you.
Out of the
Let's
four
not-
main characters, DiCaprio, Waltz, Jackson, and Fox. Yes, he's the weakest, but he's not bad.
Right.
He only looks so bad because the other performances are like all-time great, dude. Like you are hooked to the screen. And guess what, Nerdman? It is a classic hero's journey of he was born a slave, and the first scene he's shivering.
that.
He won't even he's afraid to tell the white man his name because he thinks that he's like the villain. And then he's like, let me take you under my wing. Let's go kill these people. Let's get revenge.
Yeah.
It's a classic revenge story. I'm about to unleash on you, nerd man. Let me.
And that's not a white savior story, by the way. I'm just to say, like, that's a little bit of a white savior story.
Oh my god.
Okay,
really?
I don't care.
No, I'm just saying that
That's
is.
the point that I was
That is.
making.
So Nerdman, at the beginning of the movie, you know how the first scene he's like shivering as a slave. He has whip marks on his back. But by the end, he is a gun-slinging cowboy. He realizes through the movie, like halfway through, he's like, "Holy shit, you're the fastest gun in the West." And he after he starts going on the journey, he picks his own clothes. You see, like through, I always talk about facial acting. Jamie Foxx does great facial acting of, okay, I'm like, I want to panic, but I'm having a hard time holding in that I'm actually a slave or lying right now. I got to act like I'm being a certain thing to Calvin Candy, dude. And he tells the black slaves that Calvin Candy has, he's like, he like calls them the N-word. He like starts to get confidence. He changes. He evolves. By the time the first scene to the last scene, he's a completely different character. Okay, now.
Yeah, no, okay.
So it is a character arc.
Again, that's fine, and he has a character
it's
arc.
It's not bad,
and it's decent. But again, when you have like take anything black and white out of it, when you have one of the characters, one of your main characters in your movie, and you think about it, of all Tarantino's colorful collection of characters throughout his movies, whether it's as I said, True Romance, Dusk Till Dawn, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. This slave that Jamie Foxx played ranks so fucking low in terms of how good he is in comparison to them.
So, Nerdman,
and
let me
he's
ask
the
you a question about
central
Pulp Fiction.
character that we are watching throughout this movie.
How
and
is
I just want to
how is he any worse? Because you're bringing up Pulp Fiction. That's the whole base of the argument.
Yep.
How is he any worse than Bruce Willis's character in Pulp Fiction? Bruce Willis's character is a nobody. He should have been taken out of that movie, and that movie would be a masterpiece. He's the reason that movie is not a masterpiece because his whole character arc is fucking boring.
I don't know
He's
what
just
you're talking about.
He's just Bruce Willis.
He's one of the weaker characters in that movie, but he's still fantastic.
Okay,
I mean, he's still great. The whole vignette with him and his girlfriend and him getting going to the dungeon and everything. He's great in it, and he's charismatic. No, he's not. It's not just like Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, every scene that Jamie Foxx, until Christoph Waltz dies, he's like 95% of his scenes, he's in there with him. So he never. There are some characters that when you pair them with a fantastic character actor, like they don't have to do much. Like they are such a good dynamic of him being the professional bounty hunter and then him not knowing. And he's like, holy shit, I can dress myself. And the moment that he dresses himself in like that blue attire, it's like hilarious, dude.
No, but again, I have to call you out on this. But basically, first of all, in terms of other Quentin Tarantino movies, he's one of the weakest characters. So comparing him to another weak character in Pulp Fiction, who's still a better character than him and still has a more entertaining journey, but fine, right? But again, if your criticism is like it's realistic because the journey of the story is that he's supposed to be like this weak character in the beginning and end up as a good character or whatever, or end up being more confident. I have seen other slave movies like Amistad where you have a slave who is got he isn't confident, he isn't educated in certain ways and whatever, but it's still a compelling character in and of itself. It's a compelling character study. They give the character something to do. They don't give Jamie Foxx enough to do in the beginning of this movie, and honestly, he's quite a boring character.
He's not supposed.
And it doesn't
to
matter if
anything.
Christopher Waltz is It
Hold
doesn't
on.
matter if Christopher Waltz is holding up the scene on the other end. It's an unbalanced scene. You've got
He's
one
not
good
supposed
character.
to have anything to do at the beginning of the movie, though. That's what we're saying.
Hanzo,
He's
I'm about to
supposed
get him, dude.
You know what I mean?
Continue.
It's his character as it builds up during the time, and you can see it. So at the beginning of the movie, it's not the same person that you get at the middle of the movie. So that's why it's like that. He's not supposed to be that confident. As soon as he's out the
We've
gate, he's
established
killing
that.
people.
We've
and shit.
established
But
that,
that's
and
what I'm saying.
maybe Quentin Tarantino did the right thing then in terms of for that story. But still, in terms of like how it plays out while you're watching the movie, you're not watching a compelling or interesting character for the
Very
first half.
interesting.
Do you think that genuinely? Do you think
Geek Speak hasn't spoken for a while, so but anyway, go on. Phil Pickle, continue.
After this, do you think that The Dark Knight is a masterpiece of the genre?
Hell no.
Look at Enzo.
It's the closest. It's the closest.
I know you do.
It's the closest to a masterpiece.
Fantastic. I think it's
Okay.
fantastic, but I would rank most Tarantino movies over it.
In that movie,
Like the ones I consider masterpieces anyway.
you could
Go
say
on.
that Heath Ledger holds up Christian Bale in the scenes that they're in. Like Christian Bale isn't
Christian
compelling.
Bale as Batman and as the Bruce Wayne is a more compelling character than fucking Django in Django
I get it,
Unchained.
but
Way
guess what?
more compelling.
But everyone says, even you have said, take out Heath Ledger and that movie doesn't work, which is a stupid argument.
Right.
He's a character in the movie. You're just denying the fact that Christoph Waltz is in this movie. You haven't even mentioned him because he's so great.
I'm not
Dude,
denying
you can
he is.
watch him read the back of the cereal box.
I don't think he is actually as fantastic as people make out. Again, Christoph Waltz, for all the good
Please
he
watch it
does
again,
or
Irving,
whatever.
please.
I have watched it again. I watched it today actually.
It's one of the greatest performances of all time. I'm not joking. It's not hyperbole.
No, Leonardo DiCaprio and Samuel L. Jackson. Those are great performances.
Oh my God,
movie.
Samuel Jackson is the same thing he always is.
I'll give you Leonardo.
Fucking kidding me.
No, I'll give you Leonardo, but I won't give you Samuel L. Jackson either because.
Okay, so you're taking out more characters. You're saying, yeah, this one isn't great.
I'm not saying it's not great. No. Don't put fucking words in my mouth. Don't put fucking words in my mouth. Do not put words in my mouth.
You said it yourself.
No, I said I will give you Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's the best character in that movie for me.
Okay, so none of the actual characters who are slaves, right? Who this film is supposed to be exploring.
Oh my God!
None of the actual characters who are slaves, and we're supposed to be exploring the tragedy of slavery, and the best characters.
No, we're not.
Are two white dudes.
That's exactly. You're
trying to pick the best argument that you have is that the slavery movie's not focusing on the slaves, but you're not focusing on the cinematography. The cinematography, the writing, the dialogue, the pacing, the action, the character journey.
Yeah, the pacing is off because you are following a boring character for half the movie. That's why the pacing is off.
There's a montage where a Rick Ross song plays and it's fucking amazing.
Anyway,
I need 11 black coffins.
Geek Speak, do you have anything to say? I've got to Inglourious Bastards to get to as well.
Yeah, before I lose my thoughts.
No, we're not talking about that movie.
So I think Jamie Foxx is a subpar actor. I don't think he's great, but he's a good actor. He's decent. And then you put him in a movie with Christoph Waltz and Leonardo DiCaprio, he's going to get overshadowed. Almost any actor is going to get overshadowed very easily because they're both two incredible actors. You literally anything that you have Christoph Waltz in, you are going to be hooked. You're going to watch it, and you're going to get your mind blown by his performances. I don't think I've seen a bad role by Christoph Waltz. And then the same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio. He's a fantastic actor. So the point I wanted to get at with this, with Jamie Foxx not being that great of an actor, I don't think he should have right out of the gate been gunslinging and being a badass. I get the whole hero's journey. It's perfect actually when you look at it from the outside as a writer, as a creator or whatever. When you look at it, when you're writing something, from everything I've looked at and researched, he has a perfect hero's journey. The way he starts and then the way he ends, it's perfect. I just don't think he was the greatest character. And again, it's easy because you have these great actors playing these great, interesting characters. in this movie. Overall, the point of all of this is like what we're talking about today is a hot take. Is I don't think this movie is a masterpiece. I think it's a good movie. I don't know if I can call it great. I've only seen it 1.5 times.
That's another thing you mentioned, which Geek Speak, like it's not it's not a movie that I just feel like immediately like revisiting or watching every Christmas or something like that. Like, I'd say Pulp Fiction or like definitely Reservoir Dogs is just really easily watchable. True Romance is just you could just watch that. Like, you know, by the way, I just wanted to say to Emily, by the way, I don't have any problem with white savior movies other than if the black character isn't interesting, right? Like, so there can be a white savior movie. It's fine. As long as it's a good movie, it's well written and the black character is actually an interesting character, or whatever race the other character is an interesting character. I don't think in and of itself it's a bad thing. Like there was that recent one, there was a controversy over the Green Book or something like that. Is it the Green Book?
Yeah, it's
you guys know?
Book.
I am trolling Emily Miller in the comments, you know, with the whole white savior thing. I just sent her a link in there. Go watch that and tell me he didn't need a white savior. This is just a joke, of course. I'm just trolling, trying to be funny.
Yeah. But I'm going to say this, though. I kind of disagree with one thing. I think Jamie Foxx is a phenomenal actor. You know, he did great in Ray. He did great in Collateral Damage with fucking Tom Cruise. You know, he has some really good movies. I just think that in this movie,
Onzo, it's just Collateral. Sorry.
Collateral. Okay,
yeah, exactly. Collateral. He was fantastic. Sorry. So he can stand up to great actors. So anyway, go on, Onzo.
Don't compare Tom Cruise to Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, so I'm just saying he's a really good actor, so I'll agree with that. I just think that in this movie, what?
Can I share my screen? Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, sure, man.
What is it?
Carry on, Enzo. I don't know what he's just.
Yeah. So what I'm saying that. So okay, but really though, you're gonna bring up the Spider-Man one? Come on, man.
That was his worst.
I had to do it. As soon as you said he was a great actor, he is a great actor.
He is. But yeah, again, you can't blame him for that Spider-Man movie, man. That's the writing, that's the story, and everything. And to be honest with I'm
gonna blame everybody in the movie for that movie. I'm sorry, everybody's at fault. That's what I'll say.
And to be honest with you, when he turned to Electro, he did a good job. I liked him as Electro. It's just
so your hot take is Jamie Foxx is not a good actor, I guess. Go on, sorry, Enzo. I keep doing that. But.
No, you do. No, I don't think he's that great. Come on.
I think we're all used to you cutting us off, so it's okay. Go ahead, you do it all the time. But I think as Electro, I think he did good as Electro. But it's the beginning part where he was whatever his name was. I think that's where it was really bad. But at the end of the day, he wasn't supposed to be like. You got Leonardo DiCaprio, you got all these great actors in that movie, so. Of course, he's going to take a backseat to it. And like Yellow said, sometimes the hero isn't the most interesting character in the story. But he has some great lines in that movie. He did some great shit in that movie when he was whipping the white dude.
Wait a second. Let me ask you something, Enzo. Yeah. Enzo, let me ask you something, right? You say sometimes the hero isn't the greatest thing in a movie. You don't like The Dark Knight, right? You think The Dark Knight is a bad movie? Because
wait. Hold on.
Because if you take the Joker out, right? You said if you take the Joker out, then
he's a part of the movie. You can't take him out of the movie.
No. Wait. Geek Speak. I've got him dead to rights here. This guy is stepped in it.
God.
Right?
I will fight you.
I like The Dark Knight. I like The Dark Knight. Don't get me wrong. This is Enzo's own fucking logic. The reason you think it's a weak movie is because it's got a weak hero, right?
No, that's not what I said.
You think Christian Bale is a bad Batman, and he's an uninteresting character in that movie. So therefore, right, you're saying take away this spectacular fucking performance by the Joker, Heath Ledger. It's a bad movie because you don't like the fucking hero. So this is what I'm saying about fucking Django Unchained. Django Unchained, great villain.
But hold on, you're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not. That is what you said.
Let me explain.
That's
I
what
do
you
say
said,
that
Enzo.
Christian Bale's voice takes me out of the movies, but Christian Bale is not the only reason why I dislike those movies. It's just not. It's not the only reason, but he takes me out of those
It's
movies.
one of the main reasons, though, right?
It is 100%. It's one of the main reasons.
All right.
But for The Dark Knight, if it wasn't for Heath Ledger's Joker, I would dislike that movie. 100%.
So if it wasn't for Leonardo DiCaprio's Candy, I would dislike Django Unchained.
Okay,
but that's
let me say something.
Same fucking argument.
But
you're admitting it. You're agreeing to it. You're saying the hero isn't that great.
No, you're wrong.
Right?
No,
Onzo, can I defend you?
Go ahead.
I completely disagree. The Dark Knight is my second favorite movie of all time. I think you're completely wrong. But at least on his logic, there are scenes where the Joker's not in the movie, okay? He's not in half the movie. In Django is maybe not the best character, but Christoph Waltz or Calvin Candy or Samuel Jackson are in 90% of his scenes to hold him up. There are like 3 scenes in the movie where it's just him, and it's just kind of boring. Every other scene, dude, you're just completely forgetting. You're not even mentioning the great performances in the movie, dude. Like, he doesn't really have any scenes.
I am mentioning them. I'm just saying.
Nerdman.
And I don't think Chris Waltz is as a
Nerdman.
You know, like, he's not as magnetic as you're trying to make out. He was better in Inglourious Bastards, first of all.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
So,
he's better in Inglourious Bastards.
He's about the same.
No,
I give him the same.
Because he's acting exactly the same way.
When he pulls up the bill and he's like,
almost the exact same performance.
When he pulls up the bill,
really.
He's like, I have the notes from Lord Adamel from Austin, Texas, and he's like reading it out to the people. He could literally read the YouTube copyright claim laws,
and it's okay. It's not that fucking great.
You can be glued to the screen. Stop.
Who are you saying? Who could read this?
Tarantino, let me go, Nerdman. Let me go for like 2 minutes. Tarantino and Christoph Waltz are fucking a match made in heaven. His dialogue matches him so well. His sensibilities, the way he delivers lines. Dude, you're talking about slavery and the white savior. This movie literally makes fun of the white fucking slavers. That scene where they can't even put their mask on right, and they're like poking holes in it, is one of the funniest scenes in any movie.
By the way,
we're like, I can't see fucking shit out of this thing. They're making fun of the dumb redneck fucking hicks, dude.
That's fine. So does a lot of movies make fun of redneck hicks.
But you were saying
that's not a like great thing. Like, okay, they made fun of redneck. So what?
Wait, let me say this thing, and then you can, as you say, unpack it all. Okay, because I have a lot of reasons, and we don't have a lot of time.
So did 12 Years a Slave, by the way.
The 12 Years a Slave is really good, but it's really hard to watch. Yes.
Yeah, Paul Dino was like much better as the person they made fun of as in that movie. Paul Dino, the guy you look like, who's playing the Riddler. Anyway, carry on.
Dano. It's Paul Dano. That's a good movie, but dude, the dialogue. Okay, so I'm gonna name things, and you tell me if they're great in this movie. Samuel Jackson.
I think he's fantastic in this movie. I don't know what everyone's talking
Calvin
about.
Candy, Leo DiCaprio.
I think he's really, really good, but it's
his
that
best
one
fucking role,
scene.
dude.
It's his one scene. I think it is actually. You might be right about that.
Okay,
it's the one scene.
Is he great in this movie?
Don't take that as meaning anything.
Give me a yes or no. No. I want yeses or no's.
It's his best role, but I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio
yes or no.
great as
yes or no.
makes out.
Is Christoph Waltz great in this movie? Is Christoph Waltz great in this movie?
No, not in my opinion. No.
Okay. Is the score good?
The score's okay.
Is the cinematography good?
It's not as good a score as Pulp Fiction. It's not as memorable. The music as in Pulp Fiction, I can remember like definitive songs and moments that go well together. You know, like Caught in the Middle with You in Reservoir Dogs. There's no moment where the music blends with the scene as well as that.
You're insane, dude. When it's a Western and then it cuts to them doing a montage and fucking Black Coffins by Rick Ross comes on, it mixes the style.
I don't remember it.
So stylized, dude. This movie is fantastic. One scene to the next. The thread of the movie, it just works. The characters just work. You can literally listen to all Calvin Candy. He's like, you have my curiosity, but now you have my attention. Like, dude, so many quotable lines. What? Yellow, shut up. Yellow, get in here. Yellow just threw me off. But dude, this movie is fantastic.
Yellow
And
does that.
I don't think it's a masterpiece because the moment that Christoph Waltz dies,
great.
when Calvin Candy won't shake his hand, that's the genius of Tarantino writing. Like somebody dies because they won't shake somebody's hand. He's like, you want me to shake your hand or you won't let us go. Like, you better shake my hand. Like the dialogue is so good. He shoots him. When that happens, I think the movie goes downhill once those two die and it's just him and he comes back to get
All right,
revenge
look,
and burns the house down. But other than that, dude, this movie is better than Pulp Fiction and you're fucking insane.
Facts.
You are insane. Now you're dropping fucking acid 70s.
No, tell me how Bruce Willis is a good character. Tell me how Bruce Willis
Dude,
in Pulp
it is
Fiction
better
is
than Pulp
a better
Fiction.
character than Django.
I'm gonna let Geek talk first because I've been talking a long time. Geek Speak, Pulp Fiction, and Ashley, Pulp Fiction better than Django Unchained, apparently.
I mean, it's all.
I didn't
sorry.
agree with a lot of the points that you were making about Django because I still think it's a good movie. It's not as good as Kill Bill or Pulp Fiction, but it's still up there for me. So, but thank you guys. Talk to you later. All right.
All right. See you, Ashley.
I'll see you.
No problem.
Yeah, soon.
Okay.
Bye. Okay.
Geek Speak. Sorry, man. We interrupted.
Like I said, I've only seen the movie 1.5 times, but I mean, you guys all make great points. I'm not saying it's not a great movie. It's just not my favorite. I definitely prefer Pulp Fiction. I was more engaged with Pulp Fiction, and it's not because of Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is one of the weaker parts of the movie. If anything, what's his name? The guy from Grease. I don't know why. I just had a
John Travolta.
Yeah, so him and Sam Jackson are definitely the more interesting part, of the movie. I adore watching them. They're the best parts of the movie. I think everybody could probably agree with that. It's not really about Bruce Willis's whole arc. As a matter of fact, his whole arc is almost pointless if not for the fact that we just need to see that he's trying to get away from these guys. And that's really his whole point of the whole movie. Otherwise, there's just like no point for him at all. Django's a good movie. I agree with Pickle. Christoph Waltz could read the back of a fucking cereal box and we would love it. Christoph Waltz, you love to watch this guy act or talk.
Slightly overrated. I think he does a lot of the same performance over and over again, but he's fun. It's a fun performance.
No way.
It's a fun performance, but he does act the same in pretty much every other movie, but it's fine. And I'm going to stray away from that.
Being a subpar actor.
I just want to go into Pulp Fiction because I think from the jump, from the start of that movie is just a fun fucking ride. And you're right, we get straight into the swing of things with the best actors in the movie talking about, their Royale with cheese. Is that they put, mayonnaise in their chips on Holland? All of that dialogue in the beginning where they do the great thing of Quentin Tarantino, where he's able to do dialogue that doesn't move forward the story, but at the same time you be completely engaged in it. Right, he does that better. And
I got something for you. All right, watch this.
Exactly. Keith Speak said it in a dance. He's doing the Uma Thurman dance. But anyway,
I wasn't looking.
Vincent Vega, right? All of those guys. The way, as I said, that trope that Quentin Tarantino he absolutely nailed. Right, in movies like Dusk Till Dawn, movies like Pulp Fiction, where you would have these characters just talking for a long while with just about whether it would be like how they eat fries in Holland, or in Reservoir Dogs, it's about Madonna and what Papa Don't Preach, or It's Like a Virgin, what that song was about. Those great dialogues between people that doesn't move forward the plot, but you're just there and you're totally engrossed in their world. He does that better in those movies than any other movies. And when you get to something like Django Unchained, I don't feel like you ever really
just beat yourself.
I'm gonna tell you.
I don't think you
scene.
ever really get those dialogues being as memorable for me, as in those two movies, or as in Dusk Till Dawn. Same thing with what's the other one? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right?
I never seen that one.
Yeah, again,
that
such a
movie's okay.
Such a disappointment, and yet it's getting Oscar nominations, right? This guy is out of control with how overrated some of these films are.
Yeah, Pulp
There aren't
Fiction.
films you come back to. There aren't films that you like remember that dialogue, like, oh my god, like that amazing bit where they're just talking and setting up the world, and just engrossing you in the world of these characters. They just don't have those moments.
But Nurman, you do
True
know
Romance as well.
The only thing I remember.
One thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Django is. This is a great point. Django is one of his few movies that isn't stolen from another artist.
And I'm gonna say this. Pulp Fiction to me was not memorable.
That's probably why it's so bad.
I didn't like it. And then that one scene, the Vin Rhyme scene, that just kills it for me. I'm not watching that movie ever again. That movie was a one-time watch for me, and that's it.
What?
But you gotta, yeah, for sure.
Which one?
Pulp
That
Fiction.
dance. What did you not like about John Travolta's dance?
Every
Amazing.
time he's in a fucking movie, he dances.
No,
Every
he
movie.
doesn't.
Yes,
no, he doesn't.
Yes, he
Holy
does.
shit.
Every
Okay, hold
single
on.
He did it
Every
in
single
Tank
movie.
Top.
I'm about to prove you wrong right now.
I mean,
now.
I think
Give me 2
Anzo's being
seconds.
hyperbolic, but he does dance a lot.
Yes.
Who gives a shit? It was a
I
fantastic
think
dance.
he dances in the Taking
It
a
was a
Pelham 1, 2, 3.
fantastic dance, and
Does
it
he
was
dance?
iconic.
Does he dance in
And it was
Gotti?
iconic.
Does he dance in Gotti? No.
I didn't watch Gotti.
Can I just mention
I didn't watch
something?
Gotti.
He doesn't
You're
dance
right.
in Bolt. He's in Bolt. He doesn't
You're
dance
right
in Bolt.
about something. You're right
Sword-
about something.
Swordfish.
Yeah, Nerdman, you
Actually,
can't stop him
I
now.
believe-
The
he did
Taking of
dance in
Pelham
Swordfish.
1, 2, 3.
He shimmies.
Yes, he does.
Oh, that's not a dance. Come on. Okay, Savages. Savages.
Moves. He probably dances.
Savages. I know for a fact he doesn't dance in that one.
Wait, why are we on this?
And anyways,
I
my
don't
point is, I'm gonna get to another thing. About Django. Right when we get to Leonardo DiCaprio, it's like, oh, he's running everything. But then we get that scene where Samuel Jackson is sitting in the chair and he's telling him about Django. And if he was like a real slave butler, he would have not been sitting in the fucking head chair. And he's sitting in the head chair. He's lighting up a cigar, and he's like, "Yeah, there's something wrong with them niggas." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Yeah, that scene is fire." So
Them's know each other.
Scene is the most fire scene. The scene around the table where Leonardo DiCaprio gives his speech about the science of race, right, is the most fantastic, sumptuous scene in that movie. And it is really, for me, I have to like the one of the only really memorable pieces of dialogue in that movie. I'm not going to say there's nothing else. Whereas Pulp Fiction, almost from beginning to end, there's just one fucking memorable piece of dialogue, memorable exchange between these guys. When you talk about that Bruce Willis,
man. Give me three.
You talk about that Bruce Willis scene, man. When what is it, Christopher? What's his fucking name? Christopher Walken. When he's talking about being a POW in what was it? It was in the Korean War or something, and he had to bring a watch back, and he had to put the watch in his ass. That whole fucking scene, right? Like just a little moment like that.
What does that add to the movie?
Right?
What does that add to the plot?
That's the whole point. It doesn't add to the plot.
There are so many
it still makes it really.
But there are meaningless
things.
Do you know what a hamburger like
that Tarantino did that he almost invented, like in film, like how you would do this kind of dialogue, do this thing, and you don't know where it's going, you don't know if it's playing into the story necessarily, but it's just super fucking entertaining and it's memorable. But anyway,
Django, like there are, dude, Pulp Fiction.
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Thank you.
Yes.
Another one.
Say what again? Say it one more goddamn time. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
The script. That's a great scene. Guess what?
Those are the two that I remember the most.
Yes, Nerdman is caught in the Pulp Fiction hype that hasn't ended in 30 years. Everyone saw
Oh.
Pulp Fiction. They liked how it told a story backwards. They liked the you know what they call a double cheeseburger in London or whatever he says. Oh, I didn't mean to shoot the motherfucker. The gun just went off. Like there are they like the cute little dialogue. Guess what? What are their names? Jules and Vern or whatever.
Yeah.
They're only in like 60% of the movie. 40% of that movie is boring, and there's so much
No.
tedious dialogue.
Facts.
All the dialogue,
Facts.
dude. Think about it.
No.
All the dialogue.
His exchange
Django
with
is all-
Mia
wait,
Wallace is
all the
amazing as well. All
dialogue,
that whole scene with him and Mia Wallace.
all the dialogue in Django also seems mundane, but it's adding something to the story. Even when Christoph Waltz is, he's like tapping the beer, he gets him some beer. And there's like these shots of them just sitting down talking, but he's giving him information about, you help me, I'll pay you this kind of money. He's like, we're gonna get,
but
I get paid to kill
it's
white man.
unfair.
Like,
It's unfair because
no,
you
it's not.
remember everything in films. That doesn't mean like the typical
everything.
person would find it as memorable. You just remember. You could like literally. I've seen you just do the whole scripts of fucking movies you don't even like. So it's unfair.
But listen,
Like
I'm saying in Pulp Fiction, there's dialogue that doesn't add to the story. It's entertaining, but in Django there is no meaningless dialogue. Even if I think the ending goes on about 10 minutes too long, everything is going to the next scene, adding character,
it's a
revealing
typical A
stuff.
to B hero's journey movie.
So you like Pulp Fiction because it goes backwards.
Well, fiction does strange things with narrative.
And then we see them when they're like 20 hours ago, and then John Travolta's really dead when the movie begins. It blows my mind. It's a gimmick.
That's not what I was
good
saying.
movie. It's
Wasn't
overrated.
that's
Django
not the
doesn't need
only
fucking
gimmick in the
gimmicks of
movie.
time
But anyway,
travel bullshit.
I was just again. You asked for another memorable dialogue. The movie,
give me a few.
Pulp Fiction with
English
memorable
motherfucker,
dialogue.
do you speak it?
Yeah, but that's one that everybody knows that scene.
But you said give a memorable line. That's a memorable line. That doesn't matter if everybody remembers it. That's okay.
Nerdman hasn't said that line.
I don't remember things the same way as you do. Exactly. But anyway, but look, I was just about to say, even like the way it starts off, it's immediately engaging, and it starts off with a story, as you said, which we immediately go away from, and we don't come back to until the end, because like the narrative is just, the way he's playing with narrative form is so interesting in that specific movie. But it's those two robbers, that want to rob the restaurant rather than robbing banks, and just the complete, like, all of the exchange. It's so snappy, and you have this like quiet. You have this quiet little mousy girl, and then all of a sudden she's like, gets up and she's like, I'm gonna electrocute every single motherfucker. All of that is just a fucking great way to enter into the movie and to immediately get you alive.
Back
and like,
me up on. So that seems boring.
I don't know.
When they're
It's
talking,
trash.
What are they
It's
talking
not
about?
trash at all.
Is not.
Yeah,
boring.
they're talking about
That
nothing
is
at the beginning of that movie. They're talking about nothing. It's just like,
By the way,
And how does that relate to the
we're
plot?
gonna wrap up like quite soon. So before we go, I just want to know, what are your top 5 Tarantino movies? What are the top 5? I'm just out of curiosity.
Let me look up a list of his movies. Because I think
Do you know yours?
I think Tarantino is very overrated.
I agree. I think he's overrated. I don't have a top 5, but I do have a top 3. Kill Bill's my favorite.
Wow.
Let me look at the list so I can rate them. Kill Bill for sure, and then Pulp Fiction, and then I'd have to say the second Kill Bill, Vol 2.
wait, hold on. The Rock was a Quentin Tarantino movie?
No.
I think he co-wrote it, or
He
like
co-wrote
he
it?
was
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
because
yeah. Oh, right. I
Yeah.
thought you meant The Rock was in a Quentin.
No, The
Yeah,
Rock.
The Rock.
Ugh,
The Rock.
no.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so Nerdman, I'm gonna say Django by far is number 1.
Mhm.
Inglorious Bastards is 2. I think if you just take away like some of the meaningless dialogue, take about 20 minutes
Did you
off.
just
that
say
movie
Django and Inglorious Bastards are 1 and 2? Wow.
Oh,
All right,
definitely.
sorry,
Those
carry
are
on,
those are his
carry
2
on.
strongest films. I think
Shocking,
Pulp Fiction
shocking.
is 3.
Okay.
And then I've only seen half of Reservoir Dogs, so I'd say that's 4. No, I like The Hateful Eight more than Reservoir Dogs because I haven't finished it. So The Hateful Eight is 4. Reservoir Dogs gets 5 by default. Fuck the other ones.
Dude, you are crazy. See,
No.
this is what happens when you just watch MCU movies, right? Like,
No,
I'm
hold on.
sorry. I am
on.
sorry,
But
dude.
you claimed that I was
This is exactly what happens. How do
claimed
you
that I was
watch
like a
Reservoir
snobby-
Dogs and you only watch half
But
half
you
movie?
claimed the other night on Onzo's birthday stream. Shout out to Onzo turning 47. What's up, man? Sorry, 35. You're 35.
82
I
years
said my
old.
favorite film is Birdman, and you were like, "You're a fucking
Can you hear
snob."
me, Onzo?
I
Is
hear
the
you.
volume loud enough? Sorry.
You motherfucker. So when you were talking, we could talk about movies that he written too, right?
I'm
Right,
talking about
because-
like
yeah,
full
movies that he written as well.
Okay,
full
so
he's written.
Tarantino vehicles wrote and directed. That's what I'm talking about.
okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm not in any particular order. Django,
I count
Kill
in
Bill.
ones he wrote as well, but anyway, you can.
Yeah,
you
I
can
was
do it
thinking
that
the
way.
ones you wrote, but Django, not in any particular order. Django, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, True Romance, The Rock. And
Wow.
I would go with for the last one, I'd probably go with Indigenous Bastards.
I've got to say, for me, it's I agree with some of yours, Enzo, but True Romance is for me
Number one for me too.
such a special one. If he, I don't know if I should take some points off because he didn't direct it, but it's so pure
Is that the one
Tarantino.
with Schwarzenegger?
No, that's the one with
no.
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater and
And
it's
I think
got,
it's Anna Paquin or some. What's her
Yeah, I've
name?
never seen.
no,
that.
no. It's
her name?
what is her name? I'll
Hold on,
find out.
I'm gonna get it now.
Share it up on screen because if anyone hasn't seen this movie, it's got the best Tarantino scene of all fucking time in it, man.
Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette.
Yeah.
That scene where he talks about how Italians became brown because the Moors basically did so much fucking with their bloodline with their great grandma. So there's a scene where this guy says this to a gangster, right, played by Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Fucking incredible. It's
But let's not
probably
forget
the best Tarantino scene of all time.
But let's not forget fucking Brad Pitt's Jamaican guy in that movie.
No, you're talking about Gary Oldman, but yeah, fantastic.
Oh, Gary Oldman, yeah, Gary Oldman, yeah, it was fantastic, bro.
Let's not spoil anything for them, but go watch True Romance. So True Romance is one.
No, thank you.
Reservoir Dogs is number 2. Man, it's
really good, man.
It's more like Pulp Fiction than most of them. So Reservoir Dogs. Let me think. Which one's my next one? I think Till Dawn. I can watch that anytime. And I don't know. Those are my top 3. I can't think of the rest. Like Pulp Fiction, maybe 4. And then lastly, Natural Born Killers.
All
So
right,
I don't.
Can I give my final argument?
Yep, go.
Can you name me one scene that's funnier than the racists putting on their masks and like fucking up? Put it like, who the fuck sold this shit?
In
My wife did it.
That's a great fucking scene.
Stayed up
No,
all
but
night
this
making
isn't-
these, dude.
That is a great scene.
Genuinely, can you name me a scene that's funnier than that movie? Gut busting funny.
in Pulp Fiction.
Yes. I mean, maybe you can.
I think when Zed is about to violate what's his name, the black dude, like that
funny.
whole scene, the whole setup where he's just like, I don't know, there's something about that scene that just fucking cracks me up.
Yeah,
like,
but
and then when he gets up and he goes, "I'm gonna go medieval on your ass," and like that whole like speech that he gives before it, I just find hilarious. But I wouldn't say Pulp Fiction for me is the funniest Tarantino movie. For me,
well, wait. This is my argument. No. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're hard pressed to find a funnier scene.
No, I think that's funnier
to me.
Can you find me a? I think that's definitely funnier.
I don't believe you. Can you find me a tenser scene with better acting than the dinner table scene in Django, where they're all there and Leonardo's at his peak. Can you find me a tenser scene with more tension and more drama and better acting?
As I said, that whole film is one scene.
Oh, shut up about time is all
The
one
whole
moment.
scene is one scene.
No, it's not.
It.
See,
Who
you
are you
can't answer the
talking to? You're
question.
talking to me.
Django has a funnier. It's funnier.
I don't even know.
It has better dialogue, better acting.
No,
the
you're
pacing's
saying
better.
one
It
funny
does-
scene
wait,
does not make the whole film funnier. No. You don't get to do that, Pickle. Not on my watch. You don't get to do that. You said one scene is funny, and then you're trying to make it out like that one scene makes the whole film funnier. You say one scene is tense and really well acted, and that means the whole film is well acted and tense. No, my friend, those are two separate scenes, which are great scenes, no doubt. But I could think of 11, scenes that are better in Quentin Tarantino movies, plus, Quentin Tarantino movies that are From Dusk Till Dawn's funnier than that movie.
Nerdman, you need to leave the internet if you think From Dusk Till Dawn is a good movie. Period. It's better than Django.
It's way better than
Okay,
Django.
wait. Let me finish with my final argument. I'm saying the peaks of Django beat the peaks of Pulp Fiction. I think it's a tighter movie. It doesn't have wasted dialogue about what are French fries, what they call burgers in other states, like fucking like there's so much wasted dialogue of hey, watch the boss's daughter, go take her on a date.
Yeah.
Like yes, Pulp Fiction it's one big meme. It's a good movie. It's not great. Django Unchained.
Big meme because it's iconic. Every scene's fucking iconic. That's why it's a big meme. Oh my god!
Because it's accessible to people who are like 13 and they're discovering film for the first time and they think they're cool because they discovered Pulp Fiction. But when you really look at it, Django is a tighter movie. It's better written, has better actors, better acting. One of the greatest performances I've ever seen in a movie.
What are you talking about?
One of the greatest performances I've ever seen in a movie by Christoph Waltz. He holds that movie.
Jonah Hill.
And guess what? The
Who's
violence.
The better actor.
The Jonah Hill's in
Jonah's in the movie. Yeah.
Jonah Hill, like that's the better actor or what?
Can I finish my final statement, and then I will stop. The violence in the movie, we haven't even got to that. Like the explosions of blood and stuff. It's fun to watch, and he has it in all of his movies. In this movie, it thematically makes sense, Nerdman. I'm looking at you now, Nerdman, not my laptop. Looking at you. The violence makes sense to the story. What they're saying makes sense to the story. It all weaves together. It is a revenge tale, which we can all fucking sympathize with. It is a love tale, which we can all sympathize with. It is a tale of a man changing, which we can all sympathize with. You can't sympathize with two fucking gangsters who murder people. You can sympathize with Django and with the bounty hunter. All these people.
I'm just remembering like
stylized, but it's fucking stylized perfectly. Django Unchained is absolutely better than
there
Pulp
are
Fiction.
so many funnier scenes in Pulp Fiction. By the way, I just want to mention one scene before I let you go, Geek Speak. Where Quentin the scene that Quentin Tarantino is in, where Samuel L. Jackson is asking him, "Where'd you get this coffee from?" And he's like, does this look like a dead nigga storage? Sorry, did you come to my drive and see dead niggas? That's fucking hilarious. That's funnier than every fucking scene in Django Unchained. Straight up. Anyway, Geek Speak. I just wanted to mention that. Geek Speak, man. Sorry.
All I was gonna say is, Pickle, I think you judge or you compare based off of like morals that the movie has, like what they're like the lesson I guess they're trying to teach, or the what do you call it, like what they're trying to give off to get people to learn whatever, and that's fine. I'm just saying Pulp Fiction isn't really one of those movies. It's just like there's really not anything to take away from it. I don't think it's just a movie to watch. So when I judge, I base them off of like what I enjoy more, and I just enjoyed Pulp Fiction more. That's all I was gonna say. And there's nothing wrong with how you're judging. I'm just saying, for the purpose of this argument, like what I've noticed is you judge it based off of well, I obviously probably enjoy the Django more too, which is fine. I'm just saying you judge more off of the, what is it? Not moral compass. What is it called? Like it's not necessarily a lesson that like the movie's trying to teach you either. It's like, I don't know.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
No,
sorry. I'm Emily. Sometimes we go into a different conversation. But you're right.
I'm fine with movies being like pointless, like The Big Lebowski, which they have a plot and they have dialogue, but I like movies where they're funny and they're entertaining, but they also mean something. You can connect to it. Pulp Fiction doesn't mean anything. I don't always have to relate to characters, but I just can't relate to those characters at all. None of them. At least I can relate to 2 or 3 characters in Django. I can't relate to shit in Pulp Fiction. It's just stylized gore and crazy fucking filmmaking. And I think it's a gimmick. It's a good movie, but Django
No,
It's a gimmick that works.
I understand
though.
what
It's a
you're
gimmick
saying.
That really works.
I'll say
That's
this:
the problem.
I can't relate to characters in either movie. I don't think either's a masterpiece. I think they're both good movies, great movies, maybe even in their own right. I don't think I'm comparable to any of those characters in any of the movies. I think one's one you can enjoy, and then one's kind of like a badass movie that you can enjoy. They're both different in their own right. I don't know. I love Pulp Fiction. I think it's a good movie.
They are different in their own way. And I'm gonna go to what you said about entertaining, right? I find Django more entertaining than I did Pulp Fiction for me. I seen Pulp Fiction one time and I was like, okay, I don't need to see this again. You know what I mean? But Django, I watched it like 3 different times. There were some great performances in that movie for me anyways.
Yeah.
So for me, for that reason, I will put it over
It's funny that people keep saying Pulp Fiction because Pulp Fiction is probably, I think you noticed when I gave my top 5, Pulp Fiction was pretty low.
I know.
I think Pulp Fiction is probably one of those movies. It's kind of like a bandwagon thing. Like it's just a popular name. It's a popular movie to know. So people act like they're fans of Quentin Tarantino maybe, or they act like they're fans of whatever. And they try to say that they like this movie a whole lot. Versus other Quentin Tarantino movies or any movie ever, just because it's so high on the list on many cinematic things. But I don't remember what point I was trying to make here. I don't know.
The movie for me that is like straight up like flames, and I can just go back to it every single time. And I was hoping to talk about it more, but I don't think we've got much time. Is just I think fucking Reservoir Dogs and True Romance for me.
Me too.
I'm just like, dude, like as soon as from the first fucking line of Reservoir Dogs or the first line of True Romance, I'm just in all the way. I wish you guys had watched True Romance.
I don't think you can count that though, nerd man.
And for me, let me just to say my final point here is that when I see a movie like True Romance and I in that, or I see the directing and the character work in where every single character is just iconic in their own right, in Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde, in Reservoir Dogs, I actually do hold Quentin Tarantino up to a little bit of a higher standard. And maybe that's unfair expectation for me to put on him, but when he's given me that kind of entertainment before, I'm like, okay, I'm in for a ride every time I go into a Tarantino movie. And when I don't get that, I'm like, oh, okay, it was all right. I think it's still a good movie. He's obviously a great director, but he's just not what he used to be. And that's okay. That's fine. You don't always, like, some artists are like that. They start off really great and then they start making, good stuff. It doesn't mean that they've fallen off completely or something, and there's nothing to be found in their movies, but it's just they aren't what they once were. Maybe because they were hungrier then or something like that.
You are correct, Yellow. You are correct, Yellow.
I don't really expect much for him. I feel like his movies a lot of them are the same. So like whatever he does, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I expect a whole lot. It's kind of the same thing with M. Night Shyamalan. I don't really expect a whole lot out of him. Some filmmakers just do the exact same thing. They have a certain particular style in the way that they direct things. So Quentin Tarantino, M. Night Shyamalan, Christopher Nolan, they have a particular way of storytelling. And so, I mean, when you watch a movie by these directors, you don't really expect much from them because you kind of know their style already. You know what they're going to kind of do. You don't know what there's going to happen in the movie, but you know the style. You kind of have a feel of how it's going to work. So there's some movies that you can't just go in and you will feel surprised or a thrill ride. That's part of why I think A Quiet Place is. I know this isn't really related. But this is one of my favorite movies of all time because it's such a different movie and it's such a breath of fresh air. It's so different from other movies, And I like movies like that are different, that are a different take, not necessarily horror movies, but movies that are different that make you I don't know. They're just different movies, and that's a rarity. I think. A Quiet Place is on my list of movies that I think are a masterpiece. That movie to me,
Wow,
is a masterpiece.
I need to watch this movie. I still haven't watched it, and I want to watch A Quiet Place too. So I'm gonna watch that.
Shame. It is a good goddamn movie.
Watch True Romance, man. Shame on you, dude. Like, but I'll definitely give Quiet Place, and I'll let you know what I think of it.
And I will watch True Romance.
Fantastic. Let's do that. All right, Enzo, do you want to spin this into your final thoughts here?
Yeah, like I said, I don't like to use the word masterpiece a lot. I was just going along with what we were talking about here. I agree with Geek Speak that most of his movies, you're gonna get the same kind of stuff. You're gonna get that kind of action scene, bloody gores kind of stuff in most of his movies, So they're basically all the same. But I like Django. I don't think it's one of his best. Like I said, I'm with you. I like True Romance. That's one of my top movies. I like Reservoir Dogs. Those two movies are better than Pulp Fiction and Django to me. So.
Yeah, I think they're better than Pulp Fiction as well.
Well, Nurban, I don't think you can count like True Romance and stuff for Tarantino movies, because even in his own marketing, this is like the 9th movie by Tarantino. Like, even he says that like he only has 9 movies.
But it's so Tarantino. When you watch
I mean, he wrote it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so, like, when you watch, to be honest, I wish he had have given a couple more scripts to other directors, because even watching Natural Born Killers, I loved that shit. And he was going to make that more like a documentary. And the way this guy filmed, what's his name again? It's a really great director. Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone. The way Oliver Stone directed that, it's fucking amazing. He did things that Tarantino just wouldn't have done. He would have just made it more plain visually. In any case, right? Like,
Natural Born Killers was the only movie that I ever walked out of.
Oh, really? You didn't like it? Okay, fair enough.
Wow.
But, in any case, I think that there's so much Tarantino in Dusk Till Dawn. There's so much. I mean, he's fucking in it. He's literally in it. But like, just the
Isn't he in all his
dialogue, the
movies?
way it goes, it's hard for me to completely disconnect it and say, hey, that's not a Tarantino movie for me. I mean, like, especially True Romance. It's
the best part of Dusk Till Dawn was it Selma Hayek? The dancing scene. That was the best part of that movie.
We'll have to debate that another day.
That was the best. That was the best part of the movie, bro.
Pickle,
I mean, I
you
think
think,
you had-
just to make sure, you think Quentin Tarantino's overrated? Because that's a hotter take than I was going to do.
Me?
Didn't you say you think Quentin Tarantino's overrated?
Oh yeah. I actually had that planned as a hot take someday.
Oh wow.
I think
Okay, that's a really fucking hot take.
I think he only has one incredible movie, which is Django. All his other movies are either good or wow, that's overrated.
Wow. Okay, we have to do that. Like, we'll make that debate one day.
It's weird because,
and hopefully we can get Super Wise on it, because Super Wise
weird,
loves
though,
Tarantino.
Because I as a film lover and somebody who used to want to make films and study like the filmmaking, like, I respect what he does so much, but there's just something about him, man, that I just he can't get out of his own way and make a fantastic movie, except for once, and it was Django.
Interesting.
To me, it's like, you know what you're gonna get when you get into a Tarantino movie. You know what I mean? You're always gonna get the same kind of thing when you go into one of his movies.
Which, I'll take that. Rather than the next Michael Bay movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Dude, when a Nolan or a Tarantino, or, well, not Spielberg anymore, but like Tarantino and Nolan, those are the two directors now where if they make a movie, like, everybody's like, holy shit, like, what is this movie gonna be? So, like, at least there's that feeling. I would rather watch this than the next fucking Liam Neeson action movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so yeah, Tarantino's good, but yeah.
A Quiet Place is overrated, LOL. Emily, that is a hot take.
Hell yeah.
We might have to have you on Hot Takes Tuesdays one day. We'll have to have you, Emily, on Hot Takes Tuesdays.
I will fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
great hot take.
Emily has some hot takes. She thinks that Rocky's not a good movie.
The first Rocky?
Wow.
We watched Rocky together, and I hyped it up to her so much, and we watched it. She was like, "That was like almost bad." So like
I know
she
who
has
Emily is now. Okay.
yes, my
You
girlfriend.
suck. How about you just be
Yeah,
quiet?
I didn't realize that.
A Quiet
I
Place
would-
is a great
I love this
movie.
fact.
It is a masterpiece. You're overrated.
I would say I
Wait,
like Rocky.
wait.
I like
Rocky
Rocky
is
3.
fucking overrated.
I like
is
Rocky 3
overrated.
better than
And
the
we
first
all-
Rocky.
Rocky is
was
overrated,
that
and we all
on that?
know.
Huh? I like
What was
Rocky 3 better than the first Rocky.
I can see that. I mean,
Yep.
Eye of the Tiger was created for that movie, so
I like
Mhm.
the Rocky.
let me show
with
you who a
Mr.
real man
T,
is.
The Rocky with Mr. T and the Rocky
Yeah,
with
Rocky 3.
Ivan
3
Drago
and
are
4.
the best
4.
ones.
They jumped the
Right?
shark twice. They jumped the shark
Yeah.
and then jumped the shark with the
Rocky
shark.
1 and
Yeah.
2, Rocky 1 and 2, the only thing I come out thinking is that fight would not have gone down like that. I'm sorry. Rocky would get his ass beat in most of these fucking fights. I don't know what's going on.
No,
Like,
Rocky is a
it's
true
fucking
slugger.
bullshit.
No,
I
guys,
agree.
but
Bullshit.
definitely the best
The
Rocky
fantasy.
movie by far is Creed.
Absolutely.
Creed is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen it, but let's
Yeah.
let's save that hot
Yeah.
take for another
You
time.
haven't
I think.
You haven't seen Creed, bro?
Creed, incredible.
Oh, I don't
man,
like the
so
Rocky
good.
fucking series. I don't think
Dude.
it's all that good.
But no,
Creed
but you
is
have
great.
but you have to watch Creed because even with that movie, the boxing is the most realistic boxing that there is in one of those Rocky movies. Creed 2 was kind of more Rocky-ish type,
Yeah,
but
no.
Creed 1, when they're coming in the ring and they're showing their names on the bottom, it feels like you're actually watching a real boxing
And it's
match.
a legitimate drama. Like
Yes.
that movie will make you cry. And Nerdman, there is a one take, like 3-minute fight with one take. It doesn't cut. Like the filmmaking
So
is
good.
like, dude, Ryan Coogler, like the only reason he got Black Panther is because he made Fruitvale Station then Creed.
And Creed, yeah.
Like Creed is borderline a masterpiece, I think. Creed is fantastic. It's about as
Wow.
good
It's
as,
really
as a
good.
sports movie can get.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, I'll watch it definitely. I'll definitely. It's just again, I was just not a big fan of the Rocky franchise.
You
That
hate
was
black
my-
people.
Yeah,
Yellow, get them.
I just wanted. I just like, where's this guy? Why isn't he? Why isn't he white? Like, why isn't he? Like, this is Rocky. Like,
That's
What?
the story. No, Rocky's in it, dude. Dude, Rocky's in it, and it's fantastic. He makes you cry in that movie.
didn't he get an Oscar nomination for that?
Emily said Creed was
Yeah.
shit. Oh man, yeah, she
She said
get
it
some
was
hot
the
takes.
shit.
Oh, was the shit. Okay, good,
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
good,
yeah.
good.
Oh,
Good,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Emily's on point. Emily's
She
on
hates.
point.
She
Emily
hates.
is on point.
She hates sports movies, and she really liked it.
Why didn't I like? I swear I knew that, and then like somewhere along the lines, I forgot that.
Because that's not her real last name.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah,
Okay. Cool.
This
Anyway,
was fun, dude.
it was really fun, man. It's good to talk about Tarantino. We kind of got more bogged down in Pulp Fiction versus Django, which is interesting because it's not where I thought the conversation was going to go.
well, those were the movies that
Um,
that was the movie we picked that was a better movie. So
Then
like,
Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction, yeah.
I think it's because I put Pulp Fiction in the title that made you think that maybe Pulp Fiction was like my favorite one or something, but it really isn't. I agree with you in a lot of ways. I think like what's his name slows down that movie.
I still haven't
Willis.
finished
Bruce
Creed.
Willis. Bruce Willis slows it down a little bit, but he's still entertaining.
lot.
But it's like
Dude, when he's on
whenever
screen-
Vince Vega and those or Marcellus
He's-
Wallace or
he's
you know all
Wallace
of
is
the other
good.
colorful Wallace is great.
But dude, when it's like Bruce Willis and he's like hanging with his girlfriend, he's like, "I gotta get out of here."
His girlfriend's
You're just like,
better than him,
to
though.
the guys shooting people in the face. Like,
Yeah.
they're so entertaining.
You're right. But his girlfriend is better than him in the movie. I'm sorry. Even the girl is more entertaining to watch. Than
Nerd man, you're a weird guy, man.
But you're
I love
right.
it.
It's the slowest part of the movie. It is the slowest, straight up. Anyway, the pot belly like scene is kind of cute. Reminds me of somebody I knew in the past.
Oh, get out of here.
But anyway, so yeah, that's it, man. Thanks, guys. Like again, bringing the fire, bringing the heat, putting me on the, like putting my what do you call it? Like
Wrecking you again.
Feet to the flames. Feet to the flames. As always, Pickle. Geek Speak,
Wrecking you
thanks for
again.
coming on. Thanks for the support, bro.
Thanks for having me.
It was great because I'm always like
Yeah.
up here just like
fun.
arguing by myself. For once, I had like a brother in arms in my in my hot
This
take.
is one of the few times that me and Piccolo actually disagree. You know,
Yep. And it's on hot takes. I do apologize. You got to get in there and you got to just shut us up because Nerdman and I will just like eat each other alive for an hour.
Yeah.
Which I love it. I love debate. I love debating Nerdman.
Miller, you're overrated. Shut your face. A Quiet Place is a masterpiece. Mic drop.
It's a masterpiece of horror.
It's a masterpiece of film. It's a cinematic masterpiece.
It is not that great. It's an okay.
Yes,
movie,
it is.
We got to
Just
move
because
on.
it has some moral ambiguity doesn't mean it's not a
I
masterpiece.
didn't say that. It's boring. It's not
That's
well
what you
made.
look for in a film. It is a very well written movie. You're crazy,
Bro, that movie is stupid as fuck.
You're
We
stupid.
gotta have an off-screen discussion.
Which one?
You're
Sorry, I
stupid.
missed it. Which one?
A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. It is a great movie.
Oh, he doesn't like horror movies, so he's weird.
Yeah, he can't say nothing. He still wets the bed when he watches horror movies.
Oh shit! I like. I didn't really like the first one too much, but I liked the second one. I thought the second one was really good.
Really? That's
Yeah.
interesting because I think the first one is really good, and I think the second one is really good, almost just as good. Or yeah, it's almost just as good. It's good. I don't know.
I'll be honest with you though. I do have to go back and watch it because I know I didn't watch that movie from start to end. I was going piece and piece while I was watching it, you know? So I know I do have to go back and watch it, but I really liked the second one. I thought the second one was well done, man.
I just rewatched certain scenes from that movie, and it's so good, and the score is amazing. It's such a great movie. I don't care about horror movies.
Yellow, what are you doing?
It's a great
Yellow?
movie.
This is crazy right now. Like,
I don't even
so this goes back to what,
it's like suspense.
This goes back to what Nerdman was saying earlier. Like, I agree with Onzo and Geek Speak. Like, I don't just say a movie's a masterpiece. Like I think maybe you'd be hard pressed to find 10 movies that are masterpieces.
I
agree.
Like 12 Angry Men is a masterpiece. Like you're gonna say a Quiet Place is on the same level as 12 Angry Men.
I was the first person in this stream just now. In this stream that we did today, I was the first one to say I don't call any movie a masterpiece. I have a small list of movies that I consider an actual masterpiece.
I would love to talk to you about it.
A Quiet Place, Spirited Away. Those are great to me cinematic masterpiece movies.
For me, two off of my head right now: Usual Suspects, Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption. Yeah.
Shawshank
Redemption, maybe.
Shawshank is great. I don't know if it's a
masterpiece. Go on.
Great.
Anything else?
Yeah, no, anything I'm saying Shawshank, Usual Suspect. Those are two. Glory. I think Glory is a masterpiece. But those are ones off from the top of him. The Slave movie with Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Well, not really slave movie, an army movie.
Is that the one that has Matthew Broderick in it?
Matthew Broderick, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, it's that. I think that movie is a masterpiece.
I'd have to say, like, of modern ones, like Pan's Labyrinth is like, for me.
Pan's Labyrinth was so good. I wouldn't say a masterpiece, but it was so good.
Dude, I was in tears, man. Like, there's no movie like that gets me like to just fucking just lose it. Like, I don't cry in fucking movies. I was like literally in fucking tears. That little girl is one of the most just not relatable. What am I trying to say? Like, endearing heroes of any story, and the fucking villain is monstrous.
I'd have to watch it again. But when they smashed in his nose, bro, I was like, oh, that shit looks so. It was well done, man. But I don't remember that movie too much.
Wait, is that the Guillermo del Toro movie?
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro.
Oh yeah,
I
haven't seen that movie, but I've seen that scene where they hit him with the butt of the nose and smashed. I'm like, what the? That's fucking violent for a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, it's really violent. And the score in it, the score in that fucking movie, dude. It's just from beginning top to bottom. Is that the
movie
amazing.
with David Bowie in it?
No. It's not got.
What is that movie? I get those movies confused.
Labyrinth.
And what's this one called? Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And there's just Labyrinth. I think they're the same thing because Same name, same thing.
Yeah.
But dude,
I
Toy
mean,
Story,
you're right. There's a lot of people who just
Toy Story
throw
3.
around the word
Toy
masterpiece.
Story 3 is on my list, Pickle, for sure.
Toy Story 3 is a masterpiece.
I agree with you on that one. It is a masterpiece. But so
You
is the
had
first
you had to
one.
grow up with it though to like really feel that.
Mm-hmm. Just sub to your channel, Geek Man.
Thanks, man.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
No problem.
Definitely return the favor.
When are you doing a next debate on your thing, Geek Speak? That Spider-Man debate was fire, and the whole format you did for that was just fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
It was one of
I
the best Spider-Man fights I've seen on like.
I
but
need to
anyway.
do another one. I want to do another one that's just as controversial, something that really gets people going. I have a list of topics. I'll have to go over them, and then I'll hit you up because I want to do another one soon.
Nerdman, did you see the tweet? I sent it in the Twitter chat. I said I want to do a debate soon. Like when I get my setup at our new place, I'm gonna set up some kind of debate this week. And I'm not gonna be in it. I'm just gonna host it, and I want to get a delicious panel of people. I want to get a delicious panel of people to come fight. So
Okay,
I'm gonna figure out something because I love debates.
Yeah, I want to do that myself. That's not a bad idea. Just take myself out of it, not have the pressure of having to argue.
To get wrecked.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah,
of getting wrecked. I know. Yeah,
dude, even when you're right, you're wrong. Like you even when you're right, and I know you're right, I just know how to destroy you.
Yeah,
because you don't make the right argument.
First off, I am so sorry, Pickle, but Nerdman is never right. Never right, bro.
I'm trying to be nice to my co-host of Hot Takes Tuesday.
I get it. I get it. But seeing as that
Thanks,
I'm a guest, I can hit him up. So I may not be back, but I'm gonna hit him up.
Guys, we are gonna leave now, but because there's another stream that maybe we're gonna go on. But yeah, like that was fantastic, man. Thank you, Ashley, for joining as well. If you catch the replay, and everybody in the thanks for all the support or everyone making the comments. Please do me a good favor, give me a high five, smash that like button, do subscribe to everyone on the channel. I need to get someone to put your channels in the thing, but I think most of the people who are on this at the moment are subscribed to you anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will put it in the description a little bit later. But yeah, do comment. Love the comments. Tell me your favorite Tarantino movies. Am I crazy? Is Pulp Fiction is every one of his a masterpiece, or are none of them a masterpiece? Let me know in the comments down below. And lastly, what else do we want to say? Subscribe, share, please share this kind of it's a really, I think, interesting debate program to have this hot take and each of us debating it each week. And I think next week we will have one on Pickle's channel as well.
Yeah, I'll have one next week. But all I want to say is go to my Godzilla review, give me another dislike. I'm hoping for 400, baby. Come on.
How many dislikes you got on the Godzilla?
It's like 320 right now.
Really?
It's like over 3,200 views, like 300 something dislikes. Getting crushed on that video. So, I love it. Send me the hate, baby.
Yeah, and if you don't like my face, you can also dislike as well. So, or Pickle's mustache or whatever you dislike about our beautiful features, you can you can let it be known from the dislike button. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm the Joffrey Baratheon of YouTube, and
that's new. I like that.
That is new. It's me, man.
I'm the Jon Snow.
You're the Jon Snow. What are you, Geek Speak?
I'd like to think I could be the Tyrion. I don't know.
The Tyrion. Okay. Enzo's just the old man. Anyway, peace, guys. I'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah, exactly.
3000. Peace.
So wait, hold on.
Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man.
Well, you can close it up. I'll ask Pickle.
No, go on.
I want to say, is it because you didn't like Godzilla versus Kong?
Yeah, I called it.
Oh gosh, we're gonna have to do this off.
Yeah,
I love you, 3000. Peace.